Yay, God, right? First of all, I'm Sherry Paschal, which most of you know that. Stage 4 cancer overcomer, right? I was sitting at treatment Thursday and I looked at my mom and I said, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? And do you know what she said? She said, Sherry, you don't have to say anything. She said, just your presence gives me hope. That's something my mom always said. I'm not a public speaker, but at all. When I took speech in college, there was one class that I actually stood in front of the class and cried, and my professor gave me an A just to get rid of me. All of those things. He really did. And Erin was here, she could attest to that. Cried, walked out of the room, he gave me an A. Cried, please leave, you're not going to do this. But God had a different plan, obviously, because I've been standing in front of people ever since my first diagnosis. In many different venues. So here I am. Bear with me if I mumble or veer off. Sorry. I'll try to get back on track. But first of all, I just want to say, no matter what your circumstances, choose to live. Choose to live every single day. And my circumstances have been pretty rough, and they've been pretty rough lately. So just keep putting one foot in front of the other and keep marching, because that's what we have to do. And I know that people look at me sometimes and they're like, she's not sick. She's not sick. She cannot be sick. And I'm like, you're right. I'm not sick. I'm not. I'm here and I'm living and I'm breathing, and that's what we all have to do, no matter what. No matter what. So, a little background about me is I was diagnosed in 2014 with stage 1 invasive ductal carcinoma. Stage 1, woo, God barely, right? Marched in there. They said, we'll start chemotherapy Monday. And I remember my sweet mother-in-law going, the lose your hair chemotherapy? I remember saying that. And yes, that one. And I did that. And it was very harsh on me. And I really didn't think I was going to survive that treatment. I laid in bed lots of days, and everyone's like, no way. There's no way you did that. And I'm like, oh yeah. Because when they saw me, I didn't look like I was laying in the bed. But yes, I've done it all. I did 6 months of very harsh chemotherapy, surgery, bald head, no eyebrows, no eyelashes, none of it. Some of my darkest days, I have to say. And I remember my sweet daddy, I remember laying in bed at their house because my mother was my caregiver. And my dad walked in that room and he said, get up. And he took me by the hand and we walked to Roswell Road in Texas. And he held my hand and walked with me every step of the way. And my parents still do that for me. One thing that I really want to express to you today is the importance of having a healing team, whether it consists of 2 people or if you're blessed like me, it's 100. And now that you know me, I will share my people with you. Because it is very important in your healing journey to have those people wrap their arms around you and love on you, even if it's not about the cancer, any issue. They love you and they hold you and they lift you up because they only want what is best for you. And I'm going to go back to that. Choose to live. You've got to do that. Going back to, I walked out of MD Anderson on, I don't even remember because I like for it to be a blur. In 2014, I was at home and I remember laying in my bed and I looked at my husband and I said, I feel like I have been in a car wreck. And he said to me, you need to get that checked out. And he's a man of very few words. And I said, I do, but my appointment was in 2 weeks. And my mom and my dearest friend, Kate Davis, rode with me. And I just did not have a good feeling. And I did scans and all of that, and they walked in. And I remember them looking at me and saying, well, it's back. And they just started naming the places. Skull. I mean, it was all over my bones. And at that point, I was like, oh. And I remember looking directly at Kate, and her eyes just welled up, and I was like, it's okay. It's okay. And I said, get my mom, because we always held Edwina in the waiting room because she was bit of a wreck. So we go get my mom and we bring her back, and we're like, what are we going to do now? And I remember leaving that day and driving off thinking, I'm terminal. Like, that's just a hard thing to grasp when you have babies and family. And I thought, no, I am not terminal. I'm not. And my mother said, pull this car over. And if any of you know Kate J. Davis, she drives 120 miles an hour no matter where you're going. And if you're early or not, she's just going fast. She whips over into Becky's in Baytown, and we stopped that car, and my mother laid her hands on us, and we prayed. And we prayed right there in that moment. And right there in that moment, I knew, as bad as my news was, that I was going to be okay. I did not know the path that he had was going to lay in front of me, but he has laid a huge one. And every step of the way, you guys, I mean, do I look like I'm terminal? No, and I don't feel that way either. So, with all of that being said, cancer is not a death sentence. You choose your path and you choose the way you live your life. And for me, my mission is to help all of you and many, many more. If you would have told me I would speak in front of people, I would have said you are lying, and so would that speech teacher at Magnet State University. No way. So this lining up this weekend, that's big God. This man right here, Dr. Tony, his facility is just something amazing. His approach is amazing. When you go there, you are so loved. And yesterday when he walked in my house and we met with him, he looked at all of my stuff, and and I'm like, I don't want to look at that because I don't like to read it, I don't like to see it, I don't like to look at any of it. And he's like, looks good, stable. And he said, let me tell you what stable means. And he explained to me that my cancer is sleeping. So what I'm going to tell you is that it's going to sleep for a long time. Because I am going to put forth the effort and the work it takes to keep it sleeping, and doing his approaches plus some other things. I think that I can do that, and I think that I can live a very long time. And I am the healthiest, I feel the healthiest I have ever felt in my life. And on top of cancer, I was diagnosed with Crohn's disease. So I have lots of little issues here, okay? But you know what? Nothing is too big for our God, because he's bigger than all of it. And he guides my every single step, right? Okay. So, my advice to you today, and I told you I was going to say this, would be to create a healing team. And there's a few here that I want to recognize just because they are so special to me. And do y'all mind if I do that? But first and foremost, it's my mother. Stand up. Yeah. Stay up. Stay up. I got to tell her what to do. I can't go into details, but the most amazing caregiver anyone could ever ask for, through thick and thin. Doesn't matter if she doesn't disagree. If she disagrees with me, she really doesn't disagree with me, though. She always agrees with the baby girl, which is awesome to have. And then my dear sister, Regina. Yes. The second time I did chemotherapy, I looked at my doctor and I said, I am not losing my hair. I am not doing it. And he said, okay. And I did a treatment and I got to keep my hair. And if it wasn't for Keely, stand on up. This is my sister-in-law right here, Keely Paschal. These women saved this hair. And that was super important to me. And it helped me keep on keeping on. My dear mother-in-law, Cecile Paschal, who gets on her knees and prays for me. My Aunt Mimi, who prays. She's a prayer warrior right there. When I went to Hope for Cancer and I came back, I needed some help. I was like, how am I going to do all this stuff, And you're going to hear this amazing guy talk today, and his name is Dr. Brett Schwinn. And he guides me here in Texas, where you can't have Dr. Tony in Mexico. And Dr. Brett Schwinn, if you would stand up. I'm not gonna bust out and tell you anything about this guy. I'm gonna let him do it himself. But he's a big one, and he is a big one for me. And just one snippet that we do is we meditate through Scripture, and that was so powerful for me to take my mind to that place, and that was so deep, so deep. Kate J. Davis. The female version of Duke Hazard right here. She brings me to a lot of places, and she's turning on two wheels, but we're getting there. Oh my gosh, I see Jessica Brown, dearest friend. Stand on up, sister. Tara Mann, this girl came into my house, and she helped me when I didn't know what to do. And you guys, these people, you're going to have all of these resources, and I'm going to introduce you to all these people to help you, because you need them. You need them. Dr. Tony and Marcy, I'll make you stand up. But what I want you to see, Lisa Matthews, look, I could stand this whole place. Everybody stand up. You know, if you can, stand up. This is what I'm going to end with. It's your journey. It is your journey. Take it. Take it and run. And you know what? Own it. Own it. I own it. Stand up here. It is what we're about. And I'm going to leave you with this, because this came across my Facebook page this morning. I loved it. God has a purpose for your pain, a reason for your struggle, and a reward for your faithfulness. Trust Him and never give up. Yeah.